Hello guys, I apologize for my last couple videos. I know that the sound quality was quite bad and you couldn't hardly hear me. I actually believe I corrected it this time. And I'll give a brief summary of everything if you guys haven't been able to hear me. Basically, for all the bots in the game, to start off with, you're definitely not going to want to run any of the tier 1s. Because they just can't, they don't have the health or the firepower. Now, GL Patton has like barely enough firepower, but just not enough health. Viaz has barely enough, but not enough health. Gareth does have a shield, and Stalker does have an ability. But just don't use any of them. They're a waste. They're not going to work. And if you notice, there's a significant jump in health when you reach the tier 2s. As you level these guys up, they're going to be able, they actually have, physical shields. They have, abilities. These two are pretty bad. I wouldn't use Butch or Doc. Look at that health pool on level 1 for a hover. I'm glad they buffed this thing, but it definitely makes the Griffin irrelevant. And you can run the Lancelot, the Alkin, the Leo, Kumiho, Natasha. Galahad if you really wanted to. Raijin for sure you could. Fusion if you really wanted to, but most of the tier 2s have enough that they can do something. Honestly, they're not the most important thing. It would be weapons. And like I said in a previous video, you kind of just want to run Punisher, T's, and Thunders until you get your hands on some tier 2s. Now you can run Mullets because we do need a range build. Honestly, I recommend having 2 range builds. Because if you don't, then it's going to be very difficult to handle certain maps like Yamato or Canyon. Definitely don't want to be using a brawler, like nothing but brawler hangar in Yamato or Canyon. So, that being said, I did watch the ads again. Definitely went through and did all of these. Got a little bit of rewards, so guess I'll open up the data pads for you. Okay, we got purple. And Gladius components. Purple again. Okay. Mirix. Which, by the way, we're selling all this anyway. We're going for the fastest strategy. We're trying to progress as quickly as possible. We want to max out our hangar. And then we're going to go into here. Alright, we got 684 keys. I'm going to try for a bot that we actually want to use. Okay, why does the game keep giving me Fury? Another ride. I'm selling it. Another rising, guys. Okay, however, we got something that we're actually going to throw in there. You know what? We don't really have weapons for these because we don't have like dual tempests or like for the strategy. We're really not using this robot. And to be quite honest, Nashorns are like one of the worst weapons in the game. They're just not good. But I will admit, Raijin's going to be a lot more useful, and Hover's going to replace the Cossack pretty handily. So we're just going to throw in the Hover. Now, I don't know about the mullet build. I really believe that the Hover would be best with Punishers. But then again, the range could be nice. I don't know, guys. I wanted a long range build on Natasha, and here I am making a brawler. I wanted a kind of close range build with the hover, and here I am possibly using it for the mid-long range for a little bit. Let's just take it into battles and test it. See how it feels mechanically. Obviously, I know the damage output's not going to work at all, but mechanically how it would work. Alright, let's go in there. We're going to jump right in with the hover. Hover even looks cool, I believe. Especially even with the mullet, it actually looks cool. But yeah, hover can literally hover forever if you just rapid zap, but to be quite honest, it's not always effective. Still playing the boss on This thing does have a ridiculously long reload, but it's all good. Now help is looking more fun to do it now. Kind of hoping that they'd drop another bot. I'll see you in the lobby. Alright, we reached level 11. Oh, good. Got more ads to watch. Collected some good stuff. See you in the next one. Okay. So, like, honestly, my build on the hover is not that bad. I think if we want to put the south. Definitely not hating this build though. Base and all that, so I'm not really gonna be sitting playing around with all that, but yeah. However, it's a fun bot to use, to be honest with you. Out of all the tier 2s, and especially since they buffed the health pool, definitely is helping keep it alive a little bit longer. Last round we got like 255k. So honestly, I think we could keep the Natasha as a brawler and just make the hover the longer ranged. Because honestly, if you want this thing to survive, you kind of gotta keep it from a distance anyway, because it's not really like if you put Tehran's and Magnum on it, you're not really usually getting that close. So but yeah, if we do proceed with using the mullet tees instead of trying to get a trident, I will admit the trident is way stronger than these guys. But if we save the Punisher, like the tier 2 builds with the like Avengers are actually better weapons overall in my opinion than the trident. But it's not like miles difference, but out of all the tier 1 and 2, tier 1, 2, 3 weapons, I would definitely say that Avengers are for some reason slapping way above their weight. As I said before, most players think that they actually do less damage than the Punisher T's and Punisher, but they do way more. The damage per shot might be lower, but it's definitely, when you crank it up, it's shooting way more bullets. But with that being said, I'm probably just... I honestly don't hate this build. I mean, the hover can't really brawl. Now Natasha, once it's all suited up, we got the stuff on there, the goods, it can brawl a little bit. Because even champ bots can't shoot through last stands. So your effective health pool is even larger. But with that being said, I think I'm going to, level those. Now I know I'm leveling the Punisher T right now. I must not actually clicked on it, but yeah, guys, we're going to actually leave it as is. I mean, the build's not bad, and it's not bad for the hover, so let's get these upgrades started, and I'll see you in the next one. JK, I realize we are level 11, so we're gonna buy ourselves a Leo real quick. Definitely a fun, awesome bot. And it's gonna way outperform this guy over here. So, yeah. Alright, what are we gonna do here? Now, I will admit, if we got a Redeemer and 3 Magnums, I would rather that build. But, like, right now, in the current point of the game that we're in, it's not really making any sense to do that, so we just simply do not have it. So we're going to slap Punisher. And I will admit the Pinata Thunder is not a bad build. It really isn't. But Pinatas just aren't something that I would want on there that long. So let's put these Punishers on here. I love this spot. But with that being said, I will see you in the next one. Alright, we're in another battle. Looks like it's going to be a fun one. We're actually doing Team Deathmatch. I don't think I've done that at all on this account yet. Yeah, let's see what we can do for Natasha. I'll probably bring in a Liam next because Hangar is going to leap him out. Anyone that you have to guess how interesting I have a game to be. I'm trying to show you what's the best. Now, obviously, I'm not going to waste any bullets shooting at this wave. Clip. This one. Alright, so our mullet's already done. Now, if we're being honest, Punishers are better, so we're gonna start leveling up this chain. Alright, we're gonna drop in the hover. I was gonna do a Redeemer, Tehran, or, wow. Yeah, Tehran Magnum with this thing. But if we're being quite honest with you, this bot can't really brawl, like, and it's not really an ambush bot. I mean, you can in the low leagues, it can definitely use that. I'm talking about champion league. This spot might not go at all. It doesn't have large of a health pool, so Liam does. That got me killed. I know they got to get better than this, but like, in the low leagues, I don't really care. I'm not sitting here trying to outskill anyone because nobody has any skill. If you notice, I'm not really using power cells. I'm not very certain how this stuff works. It's such a low lead. Game's trying to make me a liar. You know, when you teleport to someone for healing, you should probably use your shield to protect them. Just a thought. Just a thought. Looks like Mr. Aaron's still alive. No one sees him. I said, this is totally different than me. I'm just not used to seeing those at all, so it's kind of shocking. Normally you see that live. I have two in the same battle. Back for more. Because they actually, are feats of skill. But yeah, guys, I'm going to do these other upgrades and stuff probably in between the next video. But just remember that as you're leveling them, just keep them like even. So everything is level 1 right now. I'm going to be leveling up to level 2, and then once they're all level 2, then all level 3, and so on. Just level them up evenly. I'm not going to touch the hover until every single weapon is at least level 3, I believe. Because you want to keep weapons about three levels higher. Because weapons are damaged. Just make sure you're leveling smart. These guys, Natasha and Leo, since they're already level 6, I'm not going to be leveling them for a while. But thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day.